guys and girls. This is Kathleen Bradley, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Roberts with a reminder that the next edition of TV Confidential will premiere next week on this station at the usual time. Our guests will include Glenn Stewart. Glenn is the author of a fun new book that takes a look at the fashions, politics, mores, and everything else about the 1970s as seen through the eyes of Lieutenant Columbo. In the meantime, on the line with us right now is Cam Clarke. Cam Clarke, one of the busiest voice actors in the entertainment industry today and the author of Now They're All Here, The King Family, over 100 years of entertainment from America's first family of song and oral history of the iconic entertainment family that in many respects also serves as a family album for the King family. Now They're All Here, available wherever books are sold through Rare Bird Books. You can also find it Amazon.com, where books are sold online. For more on Cam Clarke, CamClarkeVoices.com. Before we went to break, Cam was telling us the story of how he got into the voice artist industry, a path that, in Cam's own words, was very accidental.
My brother was an associate producer over Warner Brothers. This is after the King family is long over. And he would have me in to do voiceovers for TV shows he was working on, which is doing background voices like fight grunts and radio police calls and zombie growls, and anything that is, breathing even, coughing for on-camera people. And on one of these gigs, I met this couple, Linda Gary, who was a very prominent VO and animation gal back in the 70s and 80s, and her husband, Chuck Howerton. And they put me aside after one of these sessions and said, "Have you ever thought of doing this as a career?" Now, I was going to Parsons School of Design at that time because I wanted to segue into illustration as a career. And I kind of shrugged and went, I was probably like 21. And she says, "Well, we think you should." And I'm like, oh, okay. So they literally took me by the hand, set me up with an agent, got me a coach, and Michael Bell as an animation coach, and I never looked back.
About how long does it take for you to get a voice down, Cam, before you feel ready to perform it, or does it depend on the project or what you're asked to do?
Well, most of the time you've auditioned, so you're working out your whatever sounds you want to do, whether it's a 700-year-old wizard or a 17-year-old snotty high school kid, or a animal, or creature. But you will also be thrown stuff on the spot and go, "Hey, Cam, will you grab this alien number 3 here?" And I had early on, I've been doing it so much that anyone, and this isn't just special to me, but if you're in the first string, you've got that in your hip pocket. You can bring out anything on the spot. And I think that's part of why one has success, because without that, things may not go as smoothly, if that's the word.
You work as often as you do because A, you're good, and B, you're versatile. So if a casting director, is looking for a particular voice and you're available, you're going to be the first person they call.
Well, because they too have come to know just about everything you can do.
Now They're All Here, the King family, over 100 years of entertainment from America's first family song, available Rare Bird Books, bookstores everywhere, as well as Amazon.com. Many years ago, Cam, I took a day-long seminar that was led on voice acting, that was led by one of your contemporaries, Bob Bergen, and I had several takeaways from that. Most importantly is voice acting is hard. You don't just walk off the street and say, "I'm going to be a voice artist." You got to have a certain number of you got to have a certain skill set within you. And two, it is very, very physical. A lot of times, you need to be in excellent physical condition in order to dig down deep and pull out the voice you asked to perform.
Well, and one of the things I also I counsel when I've coached, done guest lectures at a class or something, is never audition with something you can't sustain. Like, you may think you can be the abominable snowman or a little Christmas elf or a dragon, but can you do that for 4 hours?
That's good advice. That's really, really good advice. I mean, and I would imagine that applies to any voice actor, no matter how long they've been behind a microphone. Because if you think of something on the spot, as you just said, you got to be able to replicate that as needed, especially if you're doing a weekly, 5-day-a-week series like Ninja Turtles.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Circling back to the King family now, and as I said earlier, the marvelous thing about Cam's book, folks, is that it really does feel like it's like you're looking at an intimate family album of this legendary family, because there are a lot of photos from their movies and radio career, but there's a lot of at-home photos. It's just really, really special, and I would imagine that was part of the fun for you in putting the book together.
My family calls me Marion the Librarian, which is what they called what's her name in the music band,
Shirley Jones.
There's a song.
Yeah.
Because I have been the keeper of the keys since I was, in my 30s. I'm the one who took a fascination, which led to interest, which led to taking on the mantle of salvaging and saving stuff. And I also had the means to do it. Transferring this old stuff ain't cheap. Wasn't then, and that now it's 1,000 times more. So I had the means and the desire to curate and preserve. So doing the book was an art project. It was producing art, and it's my happy place.
Listening to your response just right now, Cam, it reminds me of something. We have another mutual friend in Josh Mills, and every time I talk to Josh, I love hearing stories about Edie Adams, and Edie understood at a very, almost from the beginning, that Ernie's work had to be archived. Ernie, of course, being Ernie Kovacs, and so. When you just talked about how in your 30s you realized that this needs to be saved and preserved one way or another, I mean, somehow you had that knack in you, and you're not only capturing family history, you are capturing history, because the King.
Well, at the time, I was, for me it was just like a fancy. It was like someone going, "Hey, we have all of Dad's Super 8." Movies from when we were kids, we need to transfer that. It was really just for my family more than anything. We didn't have the interwebs like we do now. So I was like, everybody wants these insane home movies, so I'm going to spend a couple of big nipples and save it.
When did you realize, Cam, that what you were preserving on a personal level was something that needed to be shared with a wider audience?
I didn't have back in those days, because we're talking like 90s, real access with fans. So, and I may be, skipping something here, but my knee-jerk is I got a letter out of the blue from a couple of guys Renee Reyes and Shane Rosamundo, who said, and they're way younger than we are. They're probably late 40s, maybe. And I get this letter saying, we are big fans of your family, and when I was growing up, my parents played King Sister and King Family albums around the clock, and we would like to chat with you about the possibility of doing a documentary on the family. So we produced this thing, which was was for PBS. It was a pledge drive about, 13 years ago now, maybe? I don't know. And it was just a beautifully loving documentary with clips and all of that. So thanks to the boys, we call them our boys, it got more light. It got some light shed on it, and we went, so maybe there is, people could remember. And also, as you've read it, nowadays you can reach out to fans just on your website. And I said, hey, if anybody out there has memories of seeing us live, please submit them. And there's a couple of pages in the book where I have shared these memories, and they are so poignant, and these fans have written so well. Just these anecdotal things about, meeting us and seeing us on stage and what they remember. And I saved up my, babysitting money so I could go. And because these people, of course, now, anyone older than we are long gone. So they would have been kids and teenagers. So it has these little notes from them has a visceral feeling to it because of their age and how in touch one is with their emotions when you're in your youth.
You mentioned the PBS documentary. Not only is Now They're All Here very much like a family album of the King family, but the way Cam lays it out, virtually every page of the book is accompanied by at least one or more photographs, and so it really is like a documentary in book form, and you really are drawn in one way or another. You're drawn in either by the stories or these breathtaking photos of the King sisters with Desi Arnaz or with Ozzie Nelson, or
I thought you were going to say Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That would be something.
Yeah.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Ed Robertson, thanking you for listening to the TV Confidential podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss our next episode.
Hi, this is Johnny Whitaker, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Good evening. Welcome to the King Family Show.
This is Uncle Alvino's 25th anniversary, so please stay tuned for the second half of the King Family Show, whether you're watching in the living room, the kitchen, or the nursery. Look, it's lucky you're a short girl. Why? Because you'll never be a long fellow.
Okay, I'm watching the clock. Cam has a recording he has to get to. Before we say goodbye, if there's one takeaway from the book that you want our listeners to know about that I have not already asked you, Cam, what would that be?
I would say that you don't have to be dyed-in-the-wool King family fan to appreciate the content, because it is literally 100 years of entertainment, as you said at the beginning, starting with vaudeville and going through video games with me. So the photography, if you're in fashion school, or you're just a fan of Hollywood fashion, or even pedestrian fashion throughout all these decades, if you're interested in 1920s jazz, if you want to know about animation and video game, or my dad's goofy 1950s horror flick, it's all there, and it's a book where you can kind of drop it, and wherever it opens, put your finger there, and you've got a wonderful tale about a certain time in the world of entertainment. You know, and with letters from Bing Crosby and Johnny Mathis and Dave Brubeck and. So.
And including George Carlin before he became Hippy Dippy George Carlin, and Richard Pryor before he became Richard Pryor. The breadth and depth and reach of the King family is endless, and you can learn all about it. Now they're all here, the King family, over 100 years of entertainment from America's first family song, available wherever books are sold, Rare Bird Books. You can also find it at Amazon.com, where books are sold online. For more on Cam Clarke, CamClarkeVoices.com. Cam, thank you so much for spending part of your day with us today. I hope we'll have a chance to talk to you again on TV Confidential.
Oh, hey, Ed, thank you so much. And, yeah, have me back and we'll do King Family After Dark. How's that?
Absolutely. A reminder that Love, Johnny Carson by Mark Malkoff, available wherever books are sold through Dutton Books, as well as Amazon.com. Ed Robertson, back with Tony Figueroa and Donna Allen, Phil Grice, and Susan Silver. Thank you so much for listening. Stay healthy, stay safe. We'll talk to you next time on TV Confidential.